Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Po Boy's Little Homestead. As always, if this is your first time here, thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in anytime you feel, my friend. Today is June the 11th of 2021. And guys, we got approximately 6 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Y'all can see my sunflowers out there, how much they've grown. But yesterday when I come out after that heavy rain and windstorm, almost all of them was laid down. So I had to stand them back up. Y'all can see in the background out there, behind the chicken pen, looks like I live on a lake now. So let's go down there and get a closer look at what's going on in the garden. So guys, like I said, the last 24 hours we've got right at 6 inches of rain, but in the last week we've been getting a ½ inch to an inch to an inch and a half, it seems like, every day. And as you can see, we starting out here with just the wildflowers in the barrel. You can see wildflowers don't like too much water. Even though they in the barrel, good draining soil, it's been raining so much, they just drowning. I never thought that they would do that in that soil, because I can put the water hose in there and the water starts coming out the hose in the bottoms real quick. So it's got good draining soil. But apparently it ain't good draining enough. But if you put more sand in there, I really don't like this barrel, and I'm probably going to end up doing away with it. Because this is what happens. Either it's too much water and they drown, or it's so hot and that plastic gets so hot you can't keep nothing growing in it, not even wildflowers. You can see the winds done broke. Yeah, that one's broke, and broke my tropical fruit cherry tomatoes over here. I'm gonna have to get out here and try to tie them up a little better. Save a couple of them there. But now these has been getting harvested every day, even in the rain. I ain't got none on here right now that's ripe as it needs to be. Here's one that's close, because these don't get red. But guys, them are some good little tomatoes. Real good little tomatoes. Now, I can't rightly remember if these was on the last video or not. I think the pots was, but I don't know if they had come up yet. But these first two, I planted some atomic grape. They cherry tomatoes. I'm gonna try to attach a picture of what they're supposed to look like. The next two down yonder is the blue cream cherry tomatoes. And the one on the end, I planted me another eggplant just so I have a late eggplant. So guys, what happens, especially with all this rain we getting, all this stuff starts getting mildew on it, diseases, blights. So I'm trying to start, just say that tropical fruit tomato I just showed y'all, once it gets so bad with blight and stuff taking over, I just do away with it, and then I'll have me some more coming on for later in the season. I done got to where I learned quickly, don't try to fight and keep stuff, because as humid as it is here in Louisiana, and again with all this extra rain we're getting, it ain't worth trying to keep it going. Just let it do what it's gonna do, get the fruit off of it, do away with that plant, and have you something else coming. At least that's what I'm trying this year. Now these little cherry tomatoes here, I don't know if y'all remember, these are called lollipops. I was trying to find one. Like I said, I harvested them yesterday after the rain. Oh well, this ain't totally right, but they don't get red, they get yellow. Not a bright yellow, just a, that's about the color it's gonna be when it's more ripe. It just won't have that green down here on the end. But these little fellas here, they ain't as acidy tasting of a tomato. But what's funny, you can eat some of them, and one might be just a pretty good tomato taste, the next one may have a little lemony taste. They good. I eat them as snacks all day long. You kind of don't know what flavor you're gonna get when you take a bite of one of them. Here's the blue cream. I didn't show y'all a close-up as I was coming down through there of the atomic great and blue cream. You see I got 3 coming up in there. Once I get about that tall, I keep the strongest one and prune the other ones down. My old lettuce here, this has been my rabbit feed. I started cutting it, feeding it to the rabbits. You can tell it's horrible looking. Everything out here is horrible looking after that storm. The spinach, I done started feeding it to rabbits. But y'all see how all that yellow blight, that's just from all this rain, moisture, humidity. You can spray, do whatever you want to when it's raining like it is and humidity like it is. You ain't gonna totally control it. You might control a little bit of it, but you ain't gonna keep this stuff just going in this kind of rain. But this lettuce here surprised me. I had cut this lettuce all the way down, snipped off to the dirt, feeding it to my rabbits, and look how much that's came back. I never expected this lettuce to even try to come back as hot as it was. Well, I got a lot of work to do. I can't stay caught up on the weeding, and especially this week, I ain't got to be out here. That poor old cilantro plant. I think I'm just gonna have to snip it off and let it start over, because I've tried to tie it up to the post and it gets taller, and all this rain and wind, and you can tell where I tied it up a few days ago, and then last night it whooped it over again. But it's getting too much water. It's drowning. Look how yellow it is. Even though it's in that little, this is kind of made like a bag pot, because inside this milk carton right here is filter cloth, so that it don't hold water. But it's getting more water than it needs because it rains every day. The Freedom Mark blackberries, you can see they finally starting to make some little berries here. What few blooms is bloomed on them 2 canes. There's some back here in the back. But again, I've been having to spray this. The dang blight's getting down on the bottom of it. Don't see how much this is gonna be another one of them Italian ice tomatoes. This one here is a Roma VF tomato. I planted in my water trough after I got the carrots harvested out of the water trough. And I know last week I told y'all the green beans was done. The sugar snap beans here, I mean. They dying down. I'm just letting some of them, gonna let them hang there and dry and go to seed. My zucchini squash, I've been getting still 1 or 2 squash every day off of this. Well, really, it's kind of been an every other day thing. About 2 to 3 every other day. Cause like right now, I got 3 or 4 little ones on here. There's one right there might be ready to harvest this afternoon. Could be harvested right now. But I started trimming my squash plants I showed y'all day before yesterday, and then again yesterday evening after the rain. I got out here and started trimming them back. But y'all can see I've done a lot of trimming back on these squash. I start pruning the leaves off as its stems growing forward. And I pruned a whole lot of that off of every one of them, trying to open it up so it can get air and dry. Like I said, again, this rain is just keeping everything too moist, mildewed, which I ain't got no mildew problem yet. I'm surprised with all this rain, but I'm getting a lot of blight on stuff. But the squash, I'm still getting, I don't know. Every day I'm giving away squash. Y'all can see all of my tomatoes, how much they growing. And Lord, y'all, I don't know exactly what's going on with these tomatoes. They got tomatoes on them, but I'm gonna go take y'all down there and show y'all one up close here in a moment. But my peppers, I come out yesterday and 3 or 4 of them was blowed completely over. So I had to get me some stakes, drive in my cages, tie my cages up, which I should have done that. That was something that just slipped my mind, because I knew once they got big, them little cages won't hold up nothing. They need to all be staked. But you can see this one here, it got boogered up pretty good when it got blowed over. And I just broke that one off just moving it. But I've been getting a lot of these Savannah hybrid sweet peppers. And if they go back, if this weather stop raining and they go back to blooming again, and make what I've got off of them already, it's gonna be some big harvests off all them peppers. Y'all can see the asparagus yard lawn beans. I don't understand why they ain't growing like the other beans down there on the other end, but they slowly growing. They got a lot of blight down at the bottom when they started. I trimmed off and I sprayed that. I think the last time I sprayed that copper tone or something like that. It's made for fungus and blights and diseases. Trying it. I normally just use my neem oil and baking soda. But it don't matter what you spray, because it seems like you spray something and 2 hours later the rains done came and washed it off. Y'all can see over yonder, done broke that cilantro plant off. I'm gonna just have to get out here after a while and just prune everything down short and hope it starts back over. Them chives, they done got so long, they should have done been cut. It's bad when you're growing more stuff than you use. I guess don't none of my neighbors really use it. Don't none of them come by and get none of that stuff. My green onions, we've been pulling them, eating with our salads and stuff, but look at them. All that rain and water, they done turning yellow. And guys, these little confetti peppers here, the couple that's turned red that I've eaten, and I love these little things, but I think where I've messed up, you see how loaded they are, which a lot of that's too, the winds blowed them over. But these vines here wasn't inside the cage, but look how loaded they are. I think I should have picked a lot of them off so they would have got bigger in size. Because what I'm going to have here when they start turning red is just a whole bunch of little bitty peppers. Which I don't mind that, but a lot of these is going to turn red too little. So after a while, I might come back through when I'm trying to clean up and prune up everything and pick some of these littlest ones off. But at this point, I don't know if they'll grow bigger or not. They should if I pull a lot of the little bitty ones off. Let the plant's energy go to making a bigger pepper. But they steady blooming. Even all this rain, look at there, there's 10 blooms on that one. I know y'all probably can't see it because they little bitty blooms on these plants. Just a little bitty white flower. So they steady blooming and making more peppers before the peppers is getting ripe. But them 4 little plants has got some peppers on them now. My old lazy housewife beans here, they got a lot of bean pods on them. They starting to fill out. Actually, I'm surprised these beans don't look worse than they do. But you can see what I mean by blight on the bottom. See how the leaves are getting all that blight on the bottom? I steady try to spray and keep them pruned off. I don't know, guys. It's a big job when it's raining the way we getting rain. My Fuji jalapeno peppers. Now guys, I've been eating some of these. And when I bought these, they called Fuji jalapenos, and I know the ones that you've been following me done heard this. But they look like a jalapeno, but they ain't hot at all. But they're not as strong tasting as a jalapeno. They really taste like a green bell pepper with a jalapeno, kind of a light jalapeno flavor to a green bell pepper is the best way I can explain it. Which I like them, and they good for cooking. But I was expecting more of a strong jalapeno flavor when I got these. This is my Christmas lima beans. They making pods. Now they're not as loaded as the lazy housewife green beans. I don't know, they got a lot on this side. But they making pods, they ain't making their... Let me get y'all up here closer and let you see them big old pods they make. Y'all see them big old pods? Christmas lima beans, they get filled out. Supposed to be some of them big old beans, like butter beans, where you take about 5 of them and have a good mouthful. But also look at that, see that blight? Some kind of blight or disease. Now I ain't even know exactly what proper terminology, cause beans gets all different kind of leaf diseases and blights. And like I said, guys, I really can't keep nothing sprayed on them to help none of this. You spray it, 30 minutes, it comes a dang thunderstorm through here and washes everything off. You spray in the morning, we get a thunderstorm through the day. You wait and spray in the evening, it comes a thunderstorm through the night. It is what it is. The habanero peppers is getting pretty loaded down. Remember I was telling y'all these was the last peppers to bloom and make peppers, but look at them. They got peppers. And I don't know if y'all remember that squash right there I planted. Supposed to be my late squash. Well, it's done caught up and looks like it's outgrowing the others. I've been getting squash off it. But it needs pruning. You see what starts happening to your bottom leaves? Here's a shot at the squash from this angle. Guys, them there done took over. They was, what you see there, I cut that much off of them in the last 2 days as the rain gave me a chance to get out here. Now all of you know the story with my tomatoes and me and the 2,4-D, and I pulled up my tomatoes. But guys, now that the tomatoes that I left, the ones out there around my duck pen, is growing so good and making tomatoes, they look better than these tomatoes that I bought. Look how the leaves is just staying curled up on them. Now this is getting leaf blight down here bad, which I don't know what to do other than prune them all off. Maybe I can keep pruning them off, but this little tomato, it's got some little clusters of tomatoes. But look at the horrible looking leaves, what they look like. All of them I bought. And they didn't just start doing this. When I bought them, I potted them up. When I bought them, I don't know if they had already got something on them from where they was at. But the thing is, guys, where I live at here, if the people locally try to pot these tomatoes themselves, it ain't no difference than where I am. We're surrounded by just corn farmers that farm corn, so they spray all that stuff. So if you in this area, this parish I live in, just because I got something on mine and I went and bought some somewhere else, the odds are it's on theirs, because all these airplanes, crop dusters spraying these cornfields at that time with 2,4-D based. It may not be exactly 2,4-D, but it's got 2,4-D in it and other herbicides that it's just in our air. And I think anywhere you buy tomatoes, even if they wasn't potted here by local people, if they went and brought them in here to sell and they're setting out at their business, still with all this stuff in the air at that time when you was buying little plants a few months ago, I think it's just a hopeless case of growing perfect tomatoes in this parish I live in. I think it's just cause it's like I said, it's so many corn crops, crop dusters spraying. I think it's just in the air. I know there's a possibility that it could be in your straw, the stuff they spray on your hay, or spray it on their hay pastures to kill weeds before they bale the hay. But I ain't blaming this on the hay. That could be a contributing factor to it, because they already thought something was wrong with these plants when I first got them, just like mine were in the beginning. But the contributing factor, you take what's in the air around here, you say, well, I'm gonna go buy my hay with just about anywhere that sells hay. They ain't gonna know if the people that they got it from, if they sprayed their pastures with anything or not before they baled the hay. And it also carries on further than that. It goes into your manures. You go get manures like I did, even though it was aged and dried, some of that stuff they spray on their fields before they harvest the hay, then the cow eats it. From my research, it still stays. It'll stay in the cow manure for a few years. And it may not be strong enough to totally kill your plant, but tomatoes is so sensitive to it, all that contributes to horrible looking tomatoes. There's a few people around here that's got some pretty tomatoes, but they're not all of them, but for the most part, you talk to them and you look at their tomatoes, they all kind of look the same, but I guess it don't matter. I mean, look at that there. There's 20 tomatoes right there on that plant, just looking at it. Y'all can see how the okra's going. You see the jambalayas on this end. It ain't growing as fast as the burgundy red and the spineless crimson down there on the farther end there. They was all planted the same time, but you can see the jambalaya variety here is growing a little slow. But this, guys, is why I'm saying I wished I'd have left more of my tomatoes in the beginning. This is one of them that I left, and you see it's still got little curly leaves, but for the most part it's growed out of that. So maybe the other ones will grow out of it. But look at the big tomatoes. I mean, that tomato there is that big around. There's several of them on there. Now, that's an heirloom tomato, so they don't make pretty tomatoes. They gonna be all out of shape. But that's one of the best eating tomatoes that I like. But you have to like an acidy tomato if you want one. Again, you can see these two plants on this end. Bought from the same place as the two on the other end I was showing y'all. Stuck in the same soil, same hay around it. It ain't as curled. I got the harvesting squash. See, guys, I harvested that yesterday, and them two right there is ready on that. Them two there, and there's two more will be ready tomorrow. But we don't get no sunshine. I see some blooms on some of them ones. I think they're gonna slow down on the blooming if we don't get no sunshine and this rain stop. Eggplants for you eggplant lovers. When this eggplant started, baby, it started. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, I can see 12, but look what else, just like that. Steady blight, 12 on that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 I see right there on that one, and there's still more blooms. But if you've been following my videos, I was telling y'all how slow them was getting started. But eggplants like hot weather. When that weather got warm, you see what they done. If you'll go back and watch the last garden update video, which was approximately a week ago, maybe a few days over, I don't know, 7 or 8 days, you can see what it did. Now the beautiful zinnias has been loving the rain. My green egg squash, it actually slowed down during all this rain. I see I got several down there. 4 on that one, 1 on there, 1 down there. That's about 5. There the old winter squash just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Been harvesting 1 to 2 to 3 on these about every day to every other day. You can see right there, there's 2 ready to harvest today. And right there's got to be harvested, because that's about as big as I like them to get right there. I usually cut them off. I was going to give that a little twist when I was here with the camera, and it didn't break just right. May have it for supper tonight. Guys, I'm still letting my Brussels sprouts grow. I may fool around here and get to eat just a little bit off of them. I never expected these to go. But you know, I topped them early, so they'd stop growing and go on and start putting the growth into the Brussels sprouts that was already on the plant. And if I could just get another good week or so, I might get enough just to have a little sample. And they may keep going. I never expected them to go this long. But they getting less and less leaves, because every day I walk by, I'm steady taking these yellow leaves off of them, just like everything else. Now guys, my potato tower and them taters back yonder in that leaf pile, y'all stay tuned, because I'm finna probably harvest them this week, this coming up week. And if you one who's been following along, some of you may be as curious as I am of what's going on in there. Did I just get potatoes right here in the last ones I planted? Or did they plant these other 2 layers grow straight up through the top and have potatoes all the way through? Or did them down there rot? I'm betting on the ones on the bottom rotted. Hope I get surprised. But I'm curious about how many tomatoes is going to be in that leaf pile. The strawberries still been doing fine. Just like everything else though, it's getting their little diseases. I spray them with neem oil and my baking soda spray as often as I can. Got me some more carrots coming up right there, but you can see the rain flattening them out. I planted some onion seeds over here. I see a few of them coming up there, but they don't look like they come up like they should. I can't even remember what variety of onion that was. A Walla, W-A-L-L-A. Some seed pack I picked up at Wally World that day. I said, well, I'll stick them in here and try them. That line come up good. I don't know. My last little radish planting here. I got 2 or 3 of them ready to harvest. This last time I didn't plant. I just put these in here to kind of fill in around them 2 tomato plants. And then on this side over here, I planted some kind of white radish. Now, they ain't started making no radishes yet. I think that was called a white icicle radish. Guys, you know I like trying different stuff. Now, out of everything in my garden, the dinosaur kale here, which I've never grew dinosaur kale and ain't even eaten none of it yet. But I've been having more trouble, and actually I don't know if it's flea beetles or because I ain't found nothing on it. But it steady gets holes in the leaves, so whatever it is must be coming out here eating at night. But again, I spray, as soon as I spray it rains. Spray the next day, rains again. Don't nothing get to stay on there long enough to kill no insects. Rainbow charge, steady getting it. There's another one of my lollipop plants. There's another one of the tropical fruit. So far, this tropical fruit is the best tasting cherry tomato I've ever eaten in my life so far. Like I said, we're gonna have some atomic grapes and some blue creams. Hopefully, it's gonna be later if I can grow them through the heart of the summer. There's our tomatoes on the pot. I'm trying to let them grow and just come on over. I'm surprised the wind didn't break them off, which is what I was expecting to happen. The wildflowers that done trying to stand back up good and tall, and then yesterday the wind wiped them out again. But the wildflowers is pretty, whether they laid down or standing up. But y'all can see, just like I was showing you on the wildflower barrel, they getting too much water. It's drowning them. And guys, I know that don't hold too much water. It's just we getting too much water. They don't have time to dry out. The red Russian kale and prism kale here. Prism kale looks good. This red Russian kale I've been feeding to my rabbits and then pruning off the bad ones like these. After the next day or so of me pruning off all this stuff from the water damage, it ain't gonna be a whole lot. Ain't gonna be much of nothing on these red Russian kales when I get done with them. So we're gonna leave them and see if they grow more leaves or what they do. Because I ain't wanting to put nothing else in there. So I'm just experimenting. I know red Russian kale is more of a heat tolerant, so to speak, more heat tolerant than other kales. So we're gonna see if they make new leaves and come back, make new growth or what. But I'm gonna prune all that up good. Here's the eggplant that had the eggplants on it first before the other two even started making. And it's done put on some more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. But them there's growing. Matter of fact, that right there is big enough to eat if I wanted to, but I'm gonna give it a couple more days. That right there, y'all, that's gonna be the first eggplant that I gonna eat on poor boy's little homestead if don't nothing happen in the next 2 days. My first eggplant for 2021. Let me get that straight. The cucumbers is all steady been producing. Look like by this scene, and there's gonna be about 4 or 5 I'm gonna get off of that one. Here's one right here needs to come off this morning. Y'all, I'm picking this stuff off, just laying it around. If I don't forget to come back around after I do this and pick all my fruit up. There's 3 or 4 there ready. But the cucumbers is doing good, other than getting their little blight disease. And again, I spray. Rain, washes. My blueberries, they kind of like my strawberries. I ain't got enough of them that they get ripe at one time to make anything out of. But look how pretty them blueberries are, guys. And like I said, I don't get enough of them to get ripe at one time. I want to juice them and make me some blueberry jelly. But the problem is I eat them. Guys, there's the watermelons. If I remember right, last week these right here was just blooms, or maybe just little bitty, starting to look like a. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see 10 right there on the outside row. So I don't know how many's all up in there. There's the biggest one in the patch right there. Like I said, these are icebox, what they call icebox watermelons. So they ain't supposed to get over 8 to 10 inches round. That there ought to be getting about close enough to start. I'm gonna have to get in there and check it out real good. But guys, I guess the one thing that's been loving the rain is my watermelons and cantaloupes and my scraggly corn patch. It looks like it's gonna make me about an ear of corn per stalk for my squirrels to eat. Yesterday afternoon, guys, when I come out, all of my sunflowers was laid over. So I got out here and I drove a metal fence post on each end. And I took that baling twine and I went down one side, come up about to the top of the post, and I come back down. And I got in there and I started standing all them back up, and then I put 2 strands down the back side and tried to sandwich them in there to hold them up. Now it didn't look like it broke none of them. It just looked like the dirt was so muddy and soft it just laid them over. So when I stood them back up, I'm hoping that the roots take back hope. And I like my pretty sunflowers. But the more blooms I'm getting, sunflowers I'm getting, I mean, that package of seed done lied to me. Now I do have them little yellow ones right here on, look like a different shape, but a lot of them down through there were supposed to be in totally different colors according to that pack of seeds. Looked to me like they only had maybe 2 different kinds of seeds in their pack. Boy, I hate it when everything's growed up and grass like this. All this rain and I ain't been able to keep things mowed. Looks plumb trashy, don't it? Cantaloupes. Now the cantaloupes ain't growing as big fast as the watermelons are. And it looked like they got way more blight and diseases on their leaves too. There's my golden on, they call golden on golden watermelons. Gold on the outside and gold on the inside. Let's go over here and look at the biggest one. But here's the biggest one. It's probably about 10 inches long and that big around at the time. That one's gonna be the first one ready to eat. But there's a long ways to go. On one of my gardening 2-minute tips, I'm going to show y'all how you tell when a watermelon is ready to pick. Now, I know there's all kind of old folk remedies out there, but I'm going to show y'all one that a lot of folks ain't heard of. But that's going to be for one of my 2-minute gardening tips, and it's going to have to be when one of these watermelons get to that point for me to show y'all. Here's old John and Adam over here. Yeah, they talking. What are y'all talking about? Huh? Good morning. Yes, sir. They just a talking this morning. Yep. Y'all's girls is growing. They'll get them over here. Christina and Sakira. They'll be over here in a few days with you. And guys, we got 5 more hens to add with Carson and his audience over there. This is 5 the chickens. I don't know if I said it on the video last week. I actually raised these chickens with my chickens and gave these to my niece, but I'm gonna be babysitting them through the summer for her. So the reason I got them in the pen right here by themselves is cause I treated them for mites, and I'm gonna let them stay in there a few days before I put them in the pen with mine after bringing them back. And it ain't that I think they got mites, I just wormed them and treated them, and I ain't gonna save the eggs for a few days off of one after I worm it. Give y'all a quick little update here on Kelly, Gwen, and Blake down here on the end. They've been doing good. At the end of this month, I'm finna see if Blake can breed these 2 here. Start getting us some baby rabbits. The best family here, I'm still getting me 5 eggs a day. I'm gonna show y'all an update on my male here. His neck's healing good. I've been doctoring it every day, and it's done healing and scabbing over. So he's doing good. In case you didn't see the last video, he got in a fight with the other rooster, so I had to separate them. And right now I got 25 eggs in the incubator to see if I can hatch out me 25 more and raise for 8 weeks, and them's gonna be for the harvesting. Y'all can see how much Sakira and Christina's grown. They're getting more gray and gray. Their Swedish blue colors coming out now. And my blue rock chicks there, they growing. They don't have names, that's just Carson's audience. And guys, there's Carson in the audience. Well, a couple of them must be in there on the nest right now laying an egg. But you can see the 3 that I've been spraying their backs. Their feathers is taking a long time to grow back, but they're gonna have a hard time growing back. Old Carson mounts them about 3 times a day, and I had them separated there for about 2 weeks so I could doctor them good, and I decided to put them back in here. They wasn't laying eggs when I had them separated. I put them back in here now. I get an egg a day from them. So, but guys, that there is my little gardening and animal update on the Poor Boy's little homestead for this week. Hope you enjoyed the little video, the tour. I'm kind of down about my little gardening and all the bad weather and all of the diseases and blights, and but maybe one of these days the weather will get pretty and everything will start putting on another growth and get on some prettier looking leaves. And it's just so wet and nasty, and muggy out here. But thanks for watching. God bless. Y'all have a good day. See y'all next time.